I've had a lot of time to think in my adult life, and I've gone through different phases and processes, made changes and decided certain things, but one thing that is so formidable right now is my desire to prove myself right, to substantiate all of the thoughts and the hopes and the attempts that I've had of creating the life I've wanted, the physical abilities that I've craved, the mental capacities. I know in me that all those are realistic, and they're not things that aren't within reach. And it does anger me to a certain degree that they have been so evasive and elusive, but I know to an extent that that's a result of my own choices. And I've had periods of consistency and periods where that wasn't the case, both a result of my own choices and circumstances. And nothing more would satisfy me than to begin to reach some of these goals, because they're so linked to what I feel my purpose is. And a lot of that is trying to be a source of inspiration for others. And I can't lie and say that I don't want to be a source of inspiration for myself. I feel like I deserve that as a human, and I want that just like everybody else. I want to feel like I gave it my all and I was able to make it. I know we can't all make it. That is a kind of sad reality to life. And not everybody can get first place. Not everybody can, find the strength to supersede the obstacles in front of them. But I have felt from a young age that was very possible for me, and not something that I ever doubted. So at this point in my life, at 28, I am completely obsessed with that notion of being able to look myself in the mirror and know for a fact that I am giving it my all, and not having a shred of a doubt that is not taking place. My habits are the most aligned to my goals that they've ever been, and not to say that I've reached perfection, because I still have a long way to go, but in terms of the little things that I'm doing within each discipline, I know that they're beginning to set me up for success. And in a lot of cases, all it takes, or all I believe it would take, is just encountering the right person that can see me for what I am, And I'm trying to make myself visible. I'm trying so hard to make myself a light in the darkness. And, it's not something that I feel like I don't have intrinsically, because I do, but it's something that you also have to kind of adjust to, the lenses of the world, because not everybody can just look at you and see what you are, see who you are. You almost have to kind of, translate it in a way that is interpretable. And, I can't just always put out all my, art forms and just expect that they're going to be appreciated for what they are, as they are, maybe by a very select few. but I never expect that to be the norm. But my physical body, I know, is in the best shape it's ever been in, and I'm talking from a disciplinary standpoint. I'm the most flexible, the most acrobatic, the most balanced, and I believe even without doing extreme amounts of weight training, I believe I'm also the strongest I've been in certain muscle groups. So I can see that change in my physique, and I know a lot of that does come with age anyway as you approach your later 20s, but I still believe that a lot of that has been achieved due to careful choices and dedication, trying to eat quality foods, get good rest, limit substance use. So generally speaking, I've cut out all substances. I don't take any medicine. Occasionally I have a drink of alcohol, but outside of this current week where I'm on vacation, I really haven't touched it more than, I would say, 5 times a year on average for the last few years. So it's been, kind of a unilateral shift that I've embraced, trying to get my mindset in a certain place, my physical body primed, and also my spirit, making sure that it's in a good place. And, even though I encounter a lot of challenges like we all do, try my best to stay in a positive, mindset. And, just continue to hope that things will get better and try to create those opportunities for those positive events to happen. But it's within me, and it's something that's never been stronger. It's the urge to win. It's not even the urge to crush my competition. It's the urge for me as a person, as a human being, to succeed. To not cling so desperately to life, but to actually, be victorious within a certain niche, and to have some sort of, strength that I can, exercise. And that doesn't have to be an infinite experience, eternally. I'm not trying to live forever. I'm not trying to, be celebrated, remembered necessarily, but I just want my life to be a testament to the efforts, the passion, the dedication, devotion, and the interest, the interest that propelled this to begin with in the first place, which was, interest in pushing the limits, interest in, trying to express creativity through these different outlets, interest in pushing the mental faculties as far as they could go, and trying to create, essentially different ways of expression. So I'm not where I want to be, and it does frustrate me, it does anger me a lot, because I know it's both a result of life and my own choices, and I can't blame anybody for that, but it's just a state, and I want nothing more than to get out of that state. So I'm dedicating myself once again, committing myself to these values of integrity and, responsibility and accountability, honesty, trying to promote positive traits, and respecting other people when I can, trying to support their journey, but of course ultimately really focusing on my own, because I know that that's not going to just continue without a certain level of attention, and not pursuing material goals for the sake of material wealth. It's pursuing life goals that have more of a sentimental significance. It's about the journey, it's about, yes, the outcome, but these outcomes are not things that have a price tag. It's not something that you can buy, or it's not something that you can own. It's about an experience and rising to reach that experience. When you're on a mountain, there's certain types of experiences you can have at the summit that you can't have at the base, or when you're ascending. And so it's just about being in that certain level of existence where you can see what that's like, and you can have lived it, and just go from there, whatever comes next. So gotta see what is ahead, and continue to stay on the path towards a hopeful and very bright future, one where, at least for me, I am proud of the person that I was and the person I ultimately became, because I think there is a duality, and I want to look back and look ahead with a certain level of joy, ultimately, that I lived life to the best, and I'm continuing to set myself up for the most positive possible outcome given my situation and the life around me. And hopefully I can extend that to other people as needed and as I am. That's what I hope.